All
Hey
right.
everyone, thanks a lot for joining us today for the Founders Group. We're having our webinar presented by the wonderful Dr. Marijuana VanDyck. She's going to be talking about resiliency today. So without further ado, take it away.
All right. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me. It's wonderful to be here. And if you have any questions, comments, please drop them in the chat. We will get to them at the very end. And let's start. So, I like to do my introductions last. Let's go on and jump straight into resilience, and then we can talk later about who I am. My name, of course, Marijuana Pepsi. And so I like to hold any questions till the end, and then that way we can focus on that. This has been a very interesting time in my life. And so that's why when he asked me to talk about resilience, I said, yes, I think I would be perfect right now. Throughout my life, as with many of you, we've all been faced with challenges and situations. And sometimes we don't know where we're going in our personal lives, our business lives, etc., from day to day, hour to hour, sometimes second to second. We get up one morning and we are gung ho about what it is we're doing, and one thing might take place and it derails us for the next 3 weeks. Maybe I'm the only one who has been through that, but I think that some of you may have been through that as well. And so let's talk about resilience, and not just resilience. It's resilience. The power is in the pivot. So I'm on the couch and I'm in front of you, and you all are going to be my counselor today. So one day last year, I was in my car and I was looking at my reflection in the rearview mirror. It was 2 a.m. and I had just left an Airbnb that I discovered some things in. And I'm sitting out in front, waiting on hold for Airbnb to try to, get me in someone else's property at 3 a.m. That's not going to happen. But I tried. And I remember looking and catching myself in that rearview mirror. And I just said, oh man, what in the world am I doing here? Is this it? Is this my life? Who have I become? I was in a situation where I was going through some real pain, some heartache. And what I saw was failure on 3 different fronts. And I won't go into what those are, but let's just say resilience was needed. And when I say going through pain, heartache, and failure, I'm not talking about the Instagram kind. I'm talking about the kind of things that make you want to just cut off everybody, everything, questioning your whole life and giving up on dreams, at least for me, that I swore I'd die chasing. But sitting in my car and catching sight of myself with my bags in the back, I was sitting there so low on that moment, but it kicked in this natural reminder of this lesson. And it was a lesson I forced myself to learn just years and years ago. And that's what I want to share with you today. And it's about the pivot is in the power. And I'm someone that can share that with you, not because I'm the strongest, not because I never doubted myself, and certainly not because I think I'm better than anyone else. It's just because I've had to learn it over and over and over and over again. And I've had to reuse this secret weapon that I call it, that nobody taught me growing up. And that is that piece of resilience, that power that's in the pivot. Now, when we all talk about resilience, we know what resilience means, but I'm here to tell you today, resilience isn't always what we think. We're taught that resilience means, buckling up, standing tall, powering through. We are unbreakable, straight faced. But I don't believe that's real resilience. I have a PhD, so naturally I want to tell you what the dictionary says, the process and outcome of successfully adapting to difficult or challenging life experiences. And we know that those life experiences can be mental, emotional, behavioral, and it's talking about the flexibility. That's what the mainstream definition of resilience is. But for us, we got founders on the call, we've got business owners, we've got some of our employees and business owners, people who want to be. And we all know that real resilience is messy. It's sitting outside an Airbnb at 2 a.m., wondering where you're going to go in a strange city and having to be at work for a presentation you're giving at 8 a.m. It's ugly crying, it's quiet quitting, and then sometimes showing up the very next morning to get right back to work after you quit. Resilience is being smart enough to know when it's time to stop pushing and to start the pivoting. See, I mentioned Instagram before, and it's on TikTok and Instagram and all the social media with all these beautiful people, and they all from $10 to 10 million in 10 days. I did it. Yes, and you too can do it. Yeah, we can, but a lot of us, we need a little bit more, because we've got the real lives that are not in front of the camera, and we celebrate people for bouncing back. It's always the folks for the bouncing back. But the bounce back, I don't think that's the real story. The real magic is when folks like us who are striving for our businesses and for what we're trying to do for our goals, it's when we bend and flow and break and rebuild after a setback. And then we become something entirely different that still holds whispers of what we once were. And that right there is what I've come to think of as real resilience. I mentioned about sitting in the car, and there was an overarching situation that Airbnb was just a part of until June 13th of this year. I still lived in Florida, but I was working a full-time job 826 miles away from my Florida home, because there were big family, business, and personal goals that we wanted to meet, and I could not do it on a Florida salary, nor would I do the same job for almost 50% less. So flying home on weekends, holidays, I'm taking care of real estate properties. I am working on building my part-time business, my commercial property, and creating and planning. All of that is on my mind while also working my full-time job. Long distance, I hired and managed my contractors and crews by phone, by email. I stressed over Kajabi, my website builder, at 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. most nights, after barely being able to keep my eyes open because I worked 8 to 10 hours that same day. But I was happy. I was happy. I was thrilled, because I was sacrificing and I was doing the work so that my family was going to get everything that we said we were working for. And I was very, very proud of the progress I was making both back at home in Florida and out of state with my new job. I had great coworkers there and my amazing students on the college campus and the high school. And it was a great time in my life. But uh, there we go. This is about resilience. And so, why is it that life always has other plans? Doesn't it? I didn't know it then, but every single thing that I thought I knew about my happy life, it was just an illusion. That's it. And the very situations and the circumstances that I was sacrificing for, they had their own plans, and those plans didn't include me. And I don't know if you can understand when you find things out, how it hits you. And we all can remember a setback that hit us. Sometimes it's like, ooh, I felt that. I remember the day I found out mine. And I didn't believe, something like this could happen to me. It's me. I am always so careful. I am a planner. I stay ahead of potential problems. I plan long term, short term, midterm, contingencies, backups to my backups, all of that. And it didn't stop me from being kicked. And it hurts. But out of the ashes, when everything burns down around you, you finally get to rebuild on purpose. You get to quit. You get to call a stop. And you get to take a look around and rebuild. And that's the pivoting that I'm talking about with resilience. Pivoting is not quitting, it's evolving. Some of us, and I don't know who I'm talking to who's listening in, but some of us are stuck right now because we're not working hard enough. Some of us are stuck right now, not because we're not working hard enough, but because we're working hard on the wrong thing. Sometimes we think that we're being resilient by sticking with something, grinding it out. I just need to be more disciplined. And it's not always that. Sometimes it's not that we need more discipline, but more honesty to jump over some of our setbacks. What if the strongest thing we can do is quit? How many times do you hear someone say, oh, yeah, you got to quit? No, 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 no. We're told never quit, never give up, keep going, push through. You got it. But sometimes the strongest thing to do is quit. And if you don't quit, we also have the option of changing direction. That's the pivot that I'm talking about. So let me say this another way. Resilience through pivoting is not quitting. Pivoting is changing again with more wisdom. Just like life recently showed me the truth when I finally opened my eyes and accepted it, we use it. When life shows you, believe it. Don't fight it. Use it. Move with it. Lean with it. Rock with it. I told you about the 3 lessons. This lesson that I learned about the pivoting and resilience. And there are three things that I think change my life within that. And how did that help me? And I'm thinking that perhaps this is three things that can help you all as well. And number one, it's shift your identity, not your goals. Shift the identity. You ever notice how we all really keep the same time? The needle may move a little bit. We may reword it differently. The business might change from one thing to another, but at the very core, it's still the same thing. And it's not if you win, it's how you win. So again, it's not if you win, it's how you win. And that's where that pivoting comes in. When we started this call, someone was asked, okay, tell Marijuana who you are, give her the pitch. And I heard them say something like, oh, wait, no, I'm gonna do that later. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I gotta do that later. When I tell you, I feel you. I have personally spent most of my adult life dreading people asking me the question, so what do you do? And I dread the question because I am one of those people. I unapologetically and very happily do all the things for work that I have ever wanted to do. Anything that I have ever wanted to do, nothing's going to stop me. I don't care if it's related to something I'm doing right now. I do not care. I am adding that to it because I want to do it. And when I am old and I can barely walk, I want to be sitting in my rocking chair on my front porch, talking about all the things that I have done without any regrets. However, right now, where we all are, we're surrounded by people who they only know how to work one job. I'm talking more traditional. When they ask you, what do you do? And they're looking for you to give one answer because they're thinking we all should have one career. And for those of us who are these educated, professional, multi-passionate entrepreneurs, they frown down on us sometimes, and they classify those of us like that as flakes who don't know what they want to do with their lives. And so with that, until very recently, I don't even talk about an entire 50% of my career life outside of my full-time education W-2 jobs. Now, talk about being resilient. That causes a lot of things inside because here I am, at least, I have all these degrees. I'm Dr. VanDyck. I have a PhD. I've got this master's degree in education and this bachelor's degree, and I've done this, and this. And because you have all of that, and many of you do too, you have these expectations that people heap on you, right? And when you feel like you can't be who you would like to be because you don't want to answer the questions, because things happen that kick you down and you have to keep bouncing back and bouncing back and bouncing back. You got this unhappiness, unfulfillment, and I see it so much depression that goes along with us not being able to be ourselves. It's just hard. We can't take it anymore. And sometimes we turn into these half-life people who we start questioning who we are and what we really want. And that's a good thing. But being resilient in the face of all of that makes all the difference. We are all going to go through that. We're all going to have those questions. We're going to be questioned by people. We can't get away from it as try as we might. We can never, we don't have to see people in person. And what happens? Doggone it, we put a video up and here they come in the comments. We don't even know these people. We can't run. And so being resilient, again, that's the difference. And that was my saving grace because I shifted and made the pivot. Maybe you can identify with this. When I started thinking about, okay, a lot of this stuff is not going right. What's going on? I started thinking about what I gave my attention to. When I say, what do I want to be known for? When someone hears my name, and you know that, we all have this branding that we're trying to do with our businesses. When people hear our business name, they hear our name and they tell us, you want them to know you for something. What just should they think of when they hear you? And so I said, okay, let me figure this out. What do I think about? What do I talk about? When I'm scrolling and looking for podcasts and topics, what do I automatically turn on and listen to? What do I look for when I scroll through YouTube? What is it that catches my eye all the time? What subjects? What social media groups do I join? And even better, what do people ask me about most often? And what do I genuinely love to help people with? Would your answers to these questions align with your current work life and what you're trying to do? Mine always didn't. And that caused a lot of uncertainty. It caused me to feel like I was a failure in some of my areas, especially where my business is concerned. And that's where that shifting my identity through answering some of those questions, I'm able to see like, okay, this is the check-in. This is where I am. Because my goals haven't changed, even though this particular topic, this particular title, this identity, my brand, this is what this is known for. But at the core of it, my goals are still the same. Like I said before, it's not if you win, it's how you win. Our job titles, our degrees, the name of our business, the name of our website, none of that is our identity. And when I remove the titles and the attempts of living up to those expectations of others, I quickly realized that I use the exact same tools in my full-time professional work as I do in my entrepreneurial ventures. And so when you feel yourself stuck in a setback and you need to make a shift, and you're not sure what to do or how, and you don't even know exactly what's happening. You just know that something's going on and you just don't feel right. I know it, but I can't figure it out. Take a look at your questions, shift your identity, not your goals, and go for the win. Because it's not if you win, it's how you win. And then here's the second resilient shift that made such a difference for me. It's when things happen. And I mean serious things that wake you up at 3 a.m. and you're dreading 7 o'clock because you know you have to face it. Or worse, you're up at 3 a.m. because you haven't gone to sleep yet. We all have things that happen. And I've learned not to ask, why me? But to simply ask, what am I going to do about it? What's next? Now, I'm not saying when something happens, because there's serious situations. And of course, we're asking, why me? I'm saying don't get stuck right there. Keep going. Get through the why me and get to what am I going to do about it? And then what's next? And this is important when we're talking about resilience because victimhood feels safe. And we don't always classify it as, oh, I'm a victim. No, we're just good people that some things happen to. But it's when we find ourselves rehashing the same stories of what's happened, and we're telling other people, and we're sharing, and we're getting, oh, you poor thing. And every single thing that happens, and we tell it to every single person we know over and over. But it seems like we never move. But I'm saying, ask, what am I going to do about it, and what's next? Because progress only starts when we take the wheel again. Like I said, we're all going to go through setbacks, personal, business, relationships, you name it. We're going to go through it. Pain, heartache, backstabbers, Murphy's Law. And yes, I know that when things happen to us, it feels like we're all alone, and like nobody else can understand what we're going through. It feels that way. When you feel like that, I encourage you to shift. I want to say the wheel again. Remind yourself that whatever is happening to you, that it is actually also happening to others at the very moment you're going through yours. So you're not alone. We've got millions in the world, and you do have a friend out there who is going through the exact same thing you do. You just haven't met them yet. So don't let that setback keep you down. It's okay to let it get you down, but let's not let it keep us down. I know that I'm human too. And just because I'm talking to you about resilience and pivoting, it doesn't mean that it's easy for me. I too let myself feel pain. And when my soul is ready, I tell myself, marijuana, it happened. It may happen again. It's probably going to happen again to me. And if not to me, to someone else. I accept that. And I also tell myself, you know what? It was just my turn. It was my turn. We've had hurricanes in the last 2 years. I think we've had four uh, I don't remember what hurricanes. I've had the big, huge tree fall smack dead in the middle of my office. I've had a roof blown off that I just got up there on the roof and replaced 2, 3 days ago, because we're back in hurricane season, and it's hard to find contractors to do a small roof on a 20-foot shed, because you've got so many other bigger jobs that pay more money. But we've had a lot of setbacks. There's so much going on right now. But you know what? I'm taking the lesson. It's my turn. I give myself time to wallow, cry, vent, but through my tears, I am still asking myself, okay, all right, what am I going to do about it? What's next? What am I doing? Never let a fall convince you that you cannot fly. Regardless of what happens, we all fall, and we should. Anyone that tells you that failing means you're a failure, never speak to them again. Because we're sitting here talking on the internet, and I'm sitting in my office and you're in yours, and someone failed many, many times to bring us this wonderful thing we call the internet. So never let a fall convince you you can't fly. We do pick ourselves back up, and that is an example of resilience, and most importantly, pivoting. The third resilience piece that I want to make sure that I share with you is to find your people. Find your people. Isolation is a dream killer. And the pivot gets easier when we find a circle of people that holds us accountable and lifts us up, even if our circle is just one other person. And when I tell you, I have tried to find a circle, it is so hard to get together in person, online. I prefer in person around schedules. And then people who like to do what you do, it's so hard. I get it, but keep trying. I signed up for Score Mentor. I know Adam's on here, and Madam Adam, you're wonderful. But I signed up for Score, not so much for a mentor to tell me how to do something, but because it gave me a supportive, dedicated person to speak to once a week for support and feedback and accountability. And it was important to me to have a mentor who understands the work and the too often loneliness of building a business. And Adam has been a godsend for me. And I know he doesn't want more work, but if you are someone who you know needs assistance in their business, have them apply for a SCORE mentor. It's nationwide. That has been my secret weapon this past few months. It has gotten me over this hump, and it's allowed me to put a lot of the things about resilience and pivoting that I'm sharing with you, because Adam's been there through this whole roller coaster that I've been going through. So find your people. And if we can do at least maybe one tiny thing that I might have said today, just one, that's when we can have the comeback, not the bounce back, because we never left. But the comeback is in the clarity. Most of you are on the call today because you're somewhere in a pivot point. I'm speaking to you today because I am right there with you in the middle of a pivot point. So right here, right now, today, we're going through the same things. I don't know how many of you have felt lost recently, this past, few months, year, today, yesterday. I don't know how many of you have been secretly telling yourself, I can't make this work. I just can't get this to work. Or it's too late. How many of you look back at your New Year's resolutions or your journals from a few years ago, and you are still trying to figure out how to do that one single thing, and you still haven't done it? I saw a journal entry of mine, you all, from 2016. Do you know that is one of the things I am literally trying to make work right now today? And I am like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? It is 2025. I am still working on this and I have not done it yet. Yeah. Maybe you're also wearing a fake smile for the world to see while hiding something inside, because we all do that. This is what I want you to take with you. You don't have to start over. You just have to start different. When I was scrolling through online, I saw a short, and he was talking about the most impactful thing he had heard was when someone told him the magic you are looking for is in the work you are avoiding. The magic you are looking for is in the work you're avoiding. The magic you are looking for is in the work you're avoiding. And I think back to all those things that I have to get over. I'm being resilient because of things of my own making, because of things that are the work I've been avoiding. And that right there, that tiny sentence has literally changed my life. Every single day, like clockwork, I choose one thing, no matter how small, one thing that I have been avoiding, and I do that one thing. And yes, it is truly magic. And I feel like I can conquer the world. And when I say small, I have a storage bag that I store underneath my bed with winter clothes. And I have a table next to my bed that I use it that rolls under and works on. And no matter how hard I push, I can't get the roller underneath the bed because that bag is there. But do you think in 3 months that I got up and just moved the bag somewhere else? Of course not. No, it's still there until this morning. Because this morning, that was my one thing in the work I am avoiding. So resilience is doing the one thing. We don't have to do everything. Start with the one thing. Let go of the old stories, let go of our old plans. Let's pull that pressure off us. This is our pivot point, and we are going to figure it out. And we're going to do it for us, not for who others think we are. And we are not alone in this. You might be working alone, but you're not alone because all of us are going through it. And so if you're ever like me and you're sitting at home in your car at 2 a.m. or somewhere, and this thing that we call these businesses we're building, oh my goodness, Kajabi, just, oh, the next time life and Kajabi and other anything in your business knocks you sideways, just don't stand back up the same. Pivot, shift, adjust, flow, bend, break, rebuild, become something entirely different that still holds those little whispers of what once was. Choose differently. And I say we walk forward like we were born for this, because we were. And that's the power of resilience and the pivot. I want to open it up for questions, comments. And so if you have a question or comment, put it in the chat.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that thank you very much for your talk today. That was great. I was mentioning to someone that I call him God. It might be a higher power to you or someone else, but I always say God will never give you more than you can handle. But I just wish you wouldn't trust me so much. I know you and I have talked about that a couple times. And then Sarah, who just to be transparent, she is also one of my clients through SCORE. She and I just talked about it today, about the high five concept from Mel Robbins. I think I told you about that too.
Yeah.
So, she was just having a rough day and she's like, I don't know if I can get through it. She goes, man, I could just use a high five right now. And she looked herself in the mirror and she's like, oh, I can do that. And she went, boom, just like that, laughed her head off. And, just had a great day after that. So,
That's
it's
right.
just a kind of thing that she did every morning. So that always helps.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, so for those, just a little bit about my background. I say one
go
more
ahead,
time.
Sarah.
Okay. I saw Eric on my screen. I didn't know if you saw him on your screen.
Oh, gotcha.
Asking a
yeah,
question.
Go ahead, Eric.
Oh, hey, how's it going? Yeah, I know you said to put it in the chat. I was writing out a long thing. It's a wonderful topic. I'm so happy that you were able to share this and be so clear and forthcoming about it. It's just such an interesting topic that resilience is such a hot button issue in business right now. And I think a lot of that is because of this like grind and hustle culture that has led to just like this increasingly large level of burnout. And people are like,
Yes.
Whoa, like I'm just supposed to like just grit and just throw tons of grit at it. And it's like, well, that can work for some people, listening to, Alex Hormozy, on loop. And like for him, it works, for people with that like Hormozy style temperament of just keep going, just focus on that one thing, just go. And then, that works for him. It works for some of those people. And then for a lot of people, they hear that and they go, oh, well, I just have to do that. And then they do it. And then they achieve some level of success. And then they realize how completely miserable they are because they have all this money and all this outside success, but they're just terribly unhappy because they let all this stuff that they love just fall by the wayside. And it's like, well, now I can't really go get that back. And like, I have to just kind of reorient my entire life around everything. And so it's like, there's all this like advice and what, a lot of what you're saying is there's just so much nuance to this, as you say, it's sometimes it's about pivoting. Sometimes it's about, working on that one thing that you're avoiding. And it's just like, it's really difficult because sometimes, as you say, the strongest thing to do is quit. And then sometimes the strongest thing to do is to grit it out. And it's like, how do you, know what this is? And so I think the pivot, I would kind of sum up this in saying that the pivoting is more in the mind as opposed to in the action itself, because once you pivot in the mind, then you're able to open up that cognitive flexibility and to be able to see where you should and shouldn't, force through, or you should be able to pivot, or you should be like, hey, I want to work on this thing, or I'm really focused on this thing, or I'm drawn to this thing. And so you're able to see more of the picture.
That's right. You said it, that you hit the nail on the head. And just like, and most of us, we've seen it's the go. And there's nothing wrong with that. I am one of those people, go. And I have learned that some of the best moments of clarity have come when I stop going and I force myself to sit still. Don't touch anything. And I look up a couple hours and go, oh my gosh, that is a great idea. Why didn't I think of that? It's because I never slowed down enough to be able to think about it. Thank you so much for that comment.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Sarah, you had your hand up. Go ahead.
Hey, this time I have something to say. Thank you so much for talking with us today. I learned a lot. And I wanted to just highlight a few quotes that you said that really impacted me. One of them is, it's not if you win, it's how you win. Another is, whatever is happening to me, someone else is going through the exact thing at the same moment. That was really helpful. But the thing is, it tied in with something you said later. You said isolation is a dream killer and to find your people. And so I think one thing I feel very, there's a lot going on right now. And so that can get in the way of me socializing, and being a part of a network. And so I've been a part of one in the past. And I think with what you're saying, it's important to tap back into that, because just knowing somebody else is going through it at the same time, and that isolation can be the dream killer. And so I just wanted to thank you for that.
You're very welcome. Definitely. Yeah. And that in finding your people, when you say it's hard to find time to hang out, most of us we're trying to get businesses going and keep them going. So I'm not even talking hanging out. I'm saying find someone that you can shoot a text message off to at 2 a.m. if you need to. Most of the time I sleep with my ringer on silent. So go ahead, send me that text message, girl. I will hear it in the morning. I will see it. Reach back out. Someone who you can jump on a call with. all of us are busy and our schedules are fluid, and we don't always have one specific day a week at a certain time that we can meet. But if we have the ability to at least have someone to reach out to, and if not, that's okay. We got our online groups, et cetera, et cetera. But it would be great to find someone who you've actually had a conversation with, even if it's just on video. That goes so far. Adam, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, especially on the, find your people. SCORE is rather isolating. It's just one-on-one. And this is what I love about the Founders Group, that, I found my people. I really did. It's great that I'm able to, have conversations all day long, all night long, because we got people in Africa, Pakistan, India, all over the place, Germany, Austria. So, I'm having conversations, 18 hours a day practically, and it's just great to connect with like-minded people who get you. Mm-hmm. So just wanted to throw that out there.
And because this is the Founders Group, I would love to find out what founders we have on the call. As shared, I'm Dr. Marijuana VanDyck. My latest venture is the Action as Empowerment Center for Change. It's an educational center that I am building to host classes, workshops, and retreats for educators and students, college age students, youth aging out of the foster care system, and other folks, in order to teach them financial literacy, and not the regular, I'm talking the usable, budgeting, credit repair, how to buy your first piece of real estate, how to buy dirt cheap real estate, since most of us can't afford the regular real estate. And I'm talking nuts, bolts, and not just the sitting and getting. I'm talking my workshops. The kind I like is when you walk in and you walk out with something, not just a list of notes. If you come in, we're talking about doing a budget, you're required to bring your pay stubs with you, bring all your bills, bring all of that, and we're going to be going through those. So it's those types of workshops. And that's again, Action as Empowerment Center for Change. And that was the building that I told you that the hurricane, that the big tree fell in the middle of. And so, yes, been working through that, and we're still going. So who else do we have? If I call you, would you mind sharing what it is you're working on? That would be amazing. Ben Wickens, can you share? I'd love to know who you are. Yeah, unmute for us.
Yeah, happy to. We actually we just sold a company. Our media business was acquired last week by a managed growth services provider out of Austin. Thank you. We're very excited for the success. I'm a many-time founder, and this is my first exit, so it's been kind of a fun journey. Fun to see this part of the journey for the first time. One of the things that I'm working on right now is kind of building the community that actually led to this webinar. And it started from a Reddit post where I offered to, mentor people to help them find something investable. I expected that, 10, 20 people would like the post, 5, 10 people would comment, and I'd get 3 chat requests. Well, 400 chat requests later, much bigger than I expected. And obviously that's fantastic, but what it helps me realize, and I got a baby crawling in here too, what it helped me realize was there's this big unmet need in the founder space, and despite all the data that's out there and all the help that's out there and all the services that are out there, their founders still aren't getting enough. They aren't getting enough of what they need. There's still gaps, and so kind of trying to figure out ways to help address some of those gaps. But yeah, so that's that, and I'm doing some business development with the company who acquired us, and trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up.
I love it. I love it. Congratulations. And thank you for sharing. This is why I love to leave time for the other people, because I feel like, we're the speaker, but I feel like I learn more from you all than, that I give when I'm talking. So thank you.
Yeah.
And if anybody needs $20, Ben has it.
Yeah, the drinks on me the next time we go out.
Right. Thank you so
But thank
much.
you. Thanks for bringing me into the discussion. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. See, Adam, do we have a little more time? Do we have to stop right
Yeah,
off?
we got about 4 more minutes. We do have leadership for the founders group has a 3:30, so I don't want to be too
Okay.
late for that. But Ray, go ahead.
Sure.
Hi, Ray here. Sorry about the silly thing. I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time and share all this valuable information with the group, and really appreciate having you around, and I hope it's not the last time.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. And Sarah, go ahead.
I know you guys were saying we could introduce ourselves. So I'm Sarah Livingstone, and my company is called Are You Motivated? I teach about burnout prevention and intervention. I heard somebody mention burnout, so I'm in good company.
Yep, and she's actually going to next week or next month put on a webinar for us on talking about burnout. So y'all can join us for that.
I love it. I love it. All right. And I don't see any other hands, so I won't force anyone. So we'll let them, they got 3 minutes to get on the next call. And Eric, fast.
I would so talk about my thing. That's not a problem. No, I developed a methodology that I use. I call it universal optimization. It approaches holistic human development from a physical, mental, and spiritual perspective. So it's kind of like an all-around development human optimization system. So I'm really excited about it. So it's really in line with what y'all are talking about here. So
Awesome. Well, thank you. I'm sorry we don't have more time. Shame on Adam you don't have to do meetings back to back.
I know, right?
That's our world. That's a joke. So thank you.
And you know that's the life of a founder too. So
yes. All right. So I hope to see you all on the next one, and hope to see some of you all presenting as well. I know I will.
All right, terrific. Thank you so much, Marijuana. I appreciate your time today. All right, we'll see you soon.